was so cool. Haha. Oh, it's like hot as fuck in here. Oh no! Ooh, I need this raptor. Hello? Hello?
Oh, I'm muted. My bad. What's up?
Aw, dude, you're coming through my TV? Yeah! Got my Roku set up on my wall, so I'm watching myself play WoW.
That's nerdy.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Oh, shit. Oh, dude, reset. I want to kill this thing. Hawk 2, spit on that thing, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, it's weird. Well,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Fair. Oh.
Here you coming through my TV. You're like, no. This sounds funny. Oh, hell yeah. I got 2 out of 5
Bot
horns.
Rix has correctly joined the channel.
What low are you?
16. I'm about to be 17.
I'm 16 now. But in hardcore, because you a baby like bitch.
Mm-hmm. Hot as fucking balls in here, man.
How you know how hot balls get?
Oh, you just called me a bitch through my TV. The fuck?
Yeah, I hear it.
They can't
Baby
hear.
back bitch.
Oh my god.
Ah.
I need bags. Give me some bags, Bobby.
I just spent a gold on bags.
Ooh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I know it hurt.
That's gross.
Like, really bad.
A gold? The fuck did you buy? What
Both on
slots?
bags?
Oh, that's not bad. For a gold? How many?
Yeah. I have one.
Oh, yeah, that's gross.
You know what? I'm not mad about it.
Ugh. Holy. My hunter slaps.
I'm out of range. It's already empty.
Oh, big damn. Oh, I can't move and throw that same time? Oh, I wonder if my auction is sold.
Let's do recharge.
Are you working that bar thing tomorrow?
Yeah, it's regular party.
Well, hopefully it's not a bus like Vieira's was. That shit was a joke.
Nah, ours already. We'll be full all night.
Yeah. They had 3 people show up for theirs. That was so embarrassing. It was so
Why
embarrassing.
did they even do it?
It was their second year ever doing it. They don't have the clientele we have. It's not even close. I don't know. I really don't know why Vieira struggles so hard. I feel like they're in such a good spot. I don't know. I don't know their issues there. I don't know. I really don't. I don't fucking make money when I work there. I think the most I ever made was like 150 bucks. Invite. Bro. Asshole. Invite. Fucking idiot.
It's too far.
What a fucking asshole. Why is there so many assholes that play this shit, man?
Hmm.
Recharging.
Oh great, this fucking quest. Can I sell this on the auction? I can, but it's not selling for shit. Hmm. I predict, Bobby, you're gonna die in the
That's
1,000
so weird.
needles
That's
when you
weird as
do
fuck.
the harpy quest in the cave.
That's really mean.
It's just a good prediction. You know what I'm saying? Dead as fuck. Or it's either gonna be there or it's gonna be Wailing Caverns.
Or?
If you decide to do it.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Alright. Alright.
Yep. Yep.
About to do Raising Fire Chasm here shortly.
Didn't you already do that or no?
No, I'm scared.
Oh, dude, you're like way over leveled for that.
I'm level 16.
If you die in there at your level, you deserve to die.
That's mean.
Yeah, but it's true, right?
Accurate.
Yeah. You have all the quests?
Most of them.
Let's do recharging.
Hey, look, it's the asshole fucking Torn. Oh my god, no, 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 no. Yeah, later, fucking dickhead. There's so many people still doing this escort quest. It's crazy. Dude, why do I play anything but Hunter and Warlock? These two classes are just so stupid. They're so broken.
Yeah.
You guys have the auto turn quest on? Oh, wait. Int buff? What are you whispering me that for, Bobby?
No, not you.
Fucking noob. You guys have the auto turn quest on?
What's funny is I still got the buff.
You read your mind. My melee does more damage than their melee. Bro, is this guy ever gonna spawn? Oh, there he is.
Still recharging.
Bro. Really? My god, man. Fucking dumbass warrior. Enjoy your ban. Everyone report.
Can't gas that yet. Charging.
Oh my god, I hope this kid gets banned, dude. God, man, what a fucking... Ugh. Ugh. I got like fucking sawdust all over my desk, man. The hell?
Have a target.
Big damn.
Wait, you're playing on a PvP server.
Yeah. Why?
I'm not doing PvP. A hard. I'm doing PvP. Again.
Okay. Where did that come from?
Doing really good.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. Could be short-lived. We'll see.
This is I'm only so this character and my warlock. I'm doing these for the long haul. They're gonna be my TBC characters. When you die on hardcore, I'll level a tune with you. On hardcore.
If I die,
Oh, you're gonna die.
thank you.
It's a matter of time.
No, don't be rude. If
I'll tell
die,
you what, Bobby. If you don't die, if you make it to 60 without dying,
Yeah.
I'll give you $100.
make it 150.
No, $100.
All right, $100. All right, bet.
I'll pay for a whole year's worth of WoW subscription for you.
All right, bet. Done. Challenge accepted.
You're dying.
Probably tomorrow. No, I'm gonna. You know what? No, fuck you. I'm gonna live my whole life. I'm gonna get a 60.
I'll pay you. I'll tell you what. If you do that, I'll pay for a whole year of WoW subscription. If you can not only make it a 60 but get full fucking Nax gear, I'll pay you $200.
So, what do I get for reaching 60 at least?
You get a whole year. A whole year.
Alright, bet. So if I get 60 and max gear, I get a year and some extras. Yeah. Early confirmation, please.
Hold on, I'm gonna make sure we don't fuck this up. It's on stream. We got documentation. I got a recording of the conversation.
Bet. Alright. I'm gonna get to 60, and you're gonna be fucking mad at yourself, so you know.
And then the new challenge will be for you to get to fucking get full Nax gear. That ain't happening.
After
That
getting
ain't
60,
fucking happening.
yeah.
That ain't fucking happening.
No, and that's not happening, but at least to get to 60 first, yes.
Yep, get to 60 first without dying.
Son of Argyle. Took another one out.
Oh, you're gonna die.
Oh, not today, peasant.
Who the fuck are you calling a peasant?
You, bitch ass. Sorry, that was intimidating.
That's so rude. I'm gonna go.
I know.
I'm gonna go cry my eyes out now. That really hurt my feelings.
Sounds like you problem, Bubba. Oh, I can't wait to hit it. I can't wait till I hit 60. Then your
Yeah.
money is mine. Ah.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Alright, bet.
You got a long journey, my bud.
I have a long ass journey. Yes, that was a correct statement.
I need to target
You know what? We live to fight another day. Alright, buh.
This guy's name is
Work tomorrow?
Wizzle Crank. Of course,
Work
I close tomorrow.
Alright, bet.
My bud?
Yeah. About that time.
About that time.
About that time.
All right, buddy. See you tomorrow.
Alright.
All right, later.
Can't wait to win this bet.
Yeah, you're not
Toodles.
winning it. That motherfucker dying tomorrow. Oh, let's see if we get lucky and get all the raptor horns over here. I really do want to do WC tonight. We have to get lucky and find the raptor horns really fast and the cat's eye. Which everyone and their mom is heading this way, so... The fuck are all the raptors, man? There's one. Ooh, 3 out of 5. Oh, hello, raptor. Oh, come on, bro. We're getting lucky. Oh, that's the rare, isn't it? Can we kill him? I don't know. We're gonna try.
It's still recharging. The spell isn't ready yet.
No way.
Recharging.
Oh my god. No, why? What? Dude, what? What just happened? He despawned?
It's not ready yet.
What? Oh my god, this fucking game. Oh, come on, dude. Oh, 4 out of 5. Oh, it just spawned.
Inventory is full.
Oh, we got it, but other stem. All right, now we got to figure out. Ah. He's 16, so we can learn Bite 3 and Claw 3 now.
Past that yet.
Ooh, big damn.
Charging.
Ay, ay, ay. I need a refill. 2 gold.
Lead.
War knife agility, handful of bolt sold. This stuff did not. That's a little depressing. Bro, what are you doing up here, man? What a fucking loser. Never mind, this class looks boring. I was gonna play mercenary, but on PoE 2, but it does not look that fun. Mapping is so weird in this game.
Holy shit!
Damn.
Holy shit! I casually took that damage too. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Hey, what's up, Shieldies?
Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink. It is time for some Path of Exile 2 discussion. Today, what I wanted to do is take a look at what builds and what ascendancies have been performing really well at the start of Path of Exile 2, and also which ones, such as my own choice, have not been reaching expectations. I'm going to do this by taking a look at data, let's get into the details of that. But just firstly, I'm going to be focusing upon trade-enabled softcore play. Softcore, solo self-found, is going to come later, and hardcore is something that's really up in the air, and I feel like individual play skill matters more than build power at the moment, and particularly in hardcore, individual knowledge of what's coming matters more. There has been an absolute slaughterhouse of players for a particular boss in Act 2, not one that's particularly hard in softcore, but one that has a gimmick to it that's entirely not obvious, and as a result, I don't feel that the hardcore meta has settled out very much yet. Of course, that's going to change over time once people learn the basics, and there'll be a lot of insights to be gained by looking at hardcore in the future, but for now, it's softcore trade enabled we're going to be looking at. Now, our methodology is pretty simple. Grinding Games publish a ladder. This is a list of the highest players by experience points. Now, in Path of Exile 1, there's a lot more information to be gleaned there. It lists the top 15,000 characters by XP. This is then scraped by the website poe.ninja. And additionally, there are links to their player profiles unless those players opt out. And that means that PoE Ninja can scrape a whole bunch of extra information as well. In PoE 2 though, there's a lot less information available. It's just 1,000 people on the ladder, not 15,000, and it also contains much less information about each build. In fact, all you can tell is their ascendancy. And at the moment, there's no equivalent of PoE.ninja either, but there's still plenty of information to be gleaned from it, and that's what we're going to be looking at here. Now, special weighting is going to be given to level 82 players. At the time that I took the snapshot of the ladder for this video, I decided I was going to take everyone that was in position 50 and above, but position 50 was a massive multi-way tie for level 82, and so I ended up extending it to the top 72 players. This is everyone that had reached level 82 at the time that my cutoff was taken. We also need to normalize a bit though for pre-league hype. If a build has done really well, but everyone knew it was going to do well going into it, then that means a little bit less than if it's done really well and not many people were playing it because people thought it was going to be dumpster tier. Cough cough the Deadeye. Almost no one was interested in playing this Ascendancy prior to the league launch, and now it is an emphatic number one on absolute performance and even further ahead when it comes to performance relative to expectations. Remember, the more people that play an Ascendancy, the more likely it is to be pushed up the ladder just by sheer force of interest, and Deadeye had less interest, but it's still an overwhelming number one top setup at the moment. Now, one major drawback to PoE 2 versions of this video, there's simply no information available yet on what these builds look like. How popular is the unique item Wanderlust? In PoE 1 we'd know, we'd be able to say, okay, of this 1,000 people at the top of the ladder, exactly 18 of them are equipping Wanderlust in their boot slot. That's not the case at the moment. We can't tell any of that information at all. And what's really important here is that we can't tell apart really obscure versions of a build that might be hard to think of. For instance, we can't tell apart whether a Deadeye on this list is playing a standard bow build that you might expect a Deadeye to play, or whether they've decided to go all in on making some sort of niche spell build. There are plenty of spell Deadeyes in Path of Exile 1, they'll probably exist in Path of Exile 2 as well, and we can't tell from the ladder as yet what type of setup these Deadeyes are using. I do think they're probably all bow builds, because the ones that I've looked at have been playing bows, but it is just a very important caveat, we just don't know that from the data alone. I want to also add in what low performing means. So sometimes Ascendancies do badly because they're bad, but sometimes there is tech that will make them good, but it hasn't yet been discovered, or it's been discovered but it hasn't yet been popularized. For instance, a particular unique item might rocket a build from F tier all the way up into S tier once people work out how to use it on a particular build, and once that information flows through the entire Path of Exile player base, which can sometimes take a while. For instance, in Path of Exile 1 at the moment, the unique sword Ephemeral Edge is something that is causing the Trickster Ascendancy to overperform even more than it otherwise would. And this is not something that every individual person that's thinking of playing a build in PoE 1 would necessarily think of, but once that information spreads throughout the PoE community, lots of people make their own unique takes on that setup, Ephemeral Edge Trickster, and also they try different things, some of them work better, and you get a bit more optimization taking place as well. What low performing does mean though, is that the obvious intuitive ways to build a character are not performing very well, and that's important to keep in mind. Anything that's good in this Ascendancy is something that's not entirely obvious. I'll give a quick PoE 1 example of this dynamic. By the end of the
When you pour a glass of Bib and Tucker, it's like traveling back to a more adventurous age, where a day's worth of
Sanctum League, pretty much everyone considered Hexblast Mines to be a god tier League starter build. But on day one, it was only a small group of Korean players that worked out just how good this setup was. Their version was not yet perfected. It was solid, but it wasn't spectacular. Their version was developing, and as it developed, it started getting better. It came to the attention of more and more build makers, and then at that point, people realized, hey, they've built exactly what happened, and then we ended up with a fantastic version of Hexblast Mines that started absolutely dominating every event after Sanctum League, became one of the best league starters around in that game. So in PoE 2, there's undoubtedly a whole lot of things like this to be discovered. They haven't been discovered yet, they will be, and this meta would continue to evolve even if Grinding Gear Games made no balance changes, and even if there were no additional ascendancies added. Of course, we know balance changes and new ascendancies are both coming. Let's talk quickly about pre-launch hype though. Something I'm going to be doing in this is normalizing the final tier level for the amount of pre-launch hype that existed. There's a very important reason for this, and this is just that getting a number of people into the top 1,000 means more if less people are playing the build. The best information we've got as to how many people are playing a particular ascendancy is just estimating from the amount of pre-launch hype that existed. It's a bit subjective, but I'm going to estimate the pre-launch hype as follows. In S tier we had Invoker. This seemed to be the most exciting build to the most people. In A tier we had Blood Mage, Infernalist and Stormweaver. In B tier we had the Titan, Gemling Legionnaire, Witch Hunter and Chronomancer. C tier we had Deadeye and Warbringer. And down in F tier we had Acolyte of Chayula and Pathfinder. This is just the amount of hype that existed prior to the launch of the game. Of course, this all changes once we start looking at their performance. Okay, so starting us off we have the Titan. Pre-launch, I'm going to measure the hype of this about B tier. Its ladder performance has also been B tier. 66 of the top 1,000 players, one of the top 72, the people who reached level 82 plus at the time that I started writing this video. This has been living up to, but not exceeding, its pretty modest pre-launch hype. I'm going to say that this is doing okay at the moment and put it in a B tier overall. You can't go wrong with the Titan, but it's also not tearing up the meta the way that a certain ascendancy, we'll get to in a second, has been. Warbringer comes in next, and pre-launch this has been hyped to a level of C tier or so a bit less than average. Ladder performance has been more like D tier. It's underperformed expectations, but not by a crushing amount. 12 of the top 1,000 and one single level 82 plus. But it is worth noting that this person is in the top 20 of the player base overall, hitting at level 84, sitting in 20th place. They were level 84 at the time that I captured my data for this video. So the Warbringer is slightly underperforming the modest expectations people had of it pre-launch. Overall, I'm going to put this ascendancy in C tier. But watch this space because I feel there's a bit of potential here. The fact that someone's got a top 20 performance with this class means there's possibly some tech that's just not widely known at the moment. Maybe that person's had a unique item drop for them that's made it a lot better, and once that unique item is more widely available in circulation, then they'll be in a better place for that information to spread through the player base, and more people will have success with this ascendancy. I feel this has a lot more potential to start to break out a little bit once people understand more about the game. Deadeye comes next, and oh my god, is this one at the top. Pre-launch, I think the hype level was somewhere around C tier. Ladder performance though, unquestionable S tier performance, eclipsing everything else. 27, or more than a third, of the level 82 plus players are playing a Deadeye. This is an utterly dominant performance coming from a complete underdog. This would be the equivalent of a completely unknown, off the radar tennis player coming up at age 19, no one's got any expectations of them. Then in that year they managed to go and win the Australian Open and they win Wimbledon as well. It's that level of performance. Deadeye is in S plus tier. There is no way you're going to go wrong if you decide to follow the herd and play a Deadeye. Pathfinder comes next, and pre-launch this was one of the least hyped ascendancies of all. It's something that's also in Path of Exile 1, that definitely went against it, but it's also something that people just weren't that excited by. However, it's slightly overperformed those very low expectations. I think that's worth mentioning, and in fact, because it's overperformed them by so much, even though its performance isn't stellar, I'm going to end up putting it in A tier overall. So its ladder performance has been C tier. 21 of the top 1,000 players, but 3 of them have been level 82 plus. When you start thinking about this, it's got 2% of the top 1,000, but then it's also got a larger percentage. When you restrict to that top 72, you start looking at more like 4 and a bit percent. That's a good sign. This is a build that very few people have been playing, but the people that have been playing it have been having disproportionate success. So consider Pathfinder if you want something that's a little bit more off meta than the Deadeye is sure to be. Chronomancer comes in next, and here we're going for something that had lots of pre-launch hype and hasn't really lived up to it. So pre-launch, I estimated Chronomancer excitement levels to be around B tier. Ladder performance so far, F tier unfortunately. 7 of the top 1,000, although one of them has made it to level 82 plus. This makes Chronomancer the highest performing of the 3 that I'm going to say their ladder performance is F tier. Given that there was a fair bit of hype around this one, I'm going to put it in F tier as an overall package once we take in both its ladder performance and its pre-launch hype, because it's significantly underperforming expectations. Lots of people started this ascendancy, but few of them have made it to endgame. That's a bad spot to be. Stormweaver comes in next, and pre-launch hype was A tier, but the ladder performance has lived up to this.
For a little savings, Specialist Miller buys in bulk. For a lot of savings, she buys.
So we've seen 131 of the top 1,000 people have been Stormweavers, 11 of them are 82 plus. Overall, I'm going to put this in A- or B+ tier. I kind of want to put it in both of them at the same time. The high expectations the player base had of this ascendancy have been met, but they haven't really been exceeded. People are doing well with the Stormweaver. It's definitely something you can't go wrong with, but it's also not something that is explosively better than people were expecting, like the Deadeye. Witch Hunter comes next. B tier for pre-launch hype, B tier performance. 80 of the top 1,000, 6 of them are 82 plus. Overall, this is neither exceeding nor underperforming expectations, perfectly balanced as all things should be, and I'm going to sit it in B tier as my overall thoughts on it. Gemling Legionnaire is next. Pre-launch hype, we're looking at a B tier. Ladder performance though, a little bit worse. This is in C tier, but it's C tier with a major caveat. And that is that whilst it's only 1.8% of the top 1,000 players, it is a massive 4 people out of 72, or 5.5% of the top 72 players. That's something that's interesting. So there's a small section of the Gemling Legionnaires that have pulled miles ahead, and that are overperforming everyone else that's made it to endgame. Maybe it's the case that the Gemling Legionnaire just does really well once you're in maps, and that's something to consider if you're thinking of something to play. Hard to get through the campaign, really good afterwards. Or alternately, maybe there's something else. Maybe there's some build tech that people have discovered that hasn't yet percolated through the player base. I'm going to rate this as a C tier. The obvious ways to build this seem to be underperforming expectations by quite a bit, but there are people doing extremely well with this ascendancy, and I'm going to say watch this space. There'll be improvements when it comes to the Gemling Legionnaire. Power is there, but it's just a bit hard to find. The Invoker comes in next. Pre-launch, my hype levels for this I think were around the S tier. This was being the most talked about ascendancy as far as I could see online. Ladder performance, it's doing fine. It's in B+ tier. 80 of the top 1,000, 10 of them have hit level 82 plus, and interestingly, 3 of the top 10 players at the time that I took my snapshot of the ladder. Overall, I'm going to rate this as a C+. It's performing adequately, but it is not meeting its expectations. It's doing fine, but there's probably more to discover in order to make it truly into a strong setup. And then, unfortunately, we need to look at the lowest performer of all, the Acolyte of Chaeola. Pre-launch hype on this was F tier. People looked at this and thought, yeah, this is bad. Ladder performance is F tier. This is the worst. There are 4 people in the top 1,000 that are playing this ascendancy. None of them have reached level 82 plus. The highest level reached is level 80. Overall, I'm going to put this in F tier as an overall ascendancy. And then we have, unfortunately, the one that I'm playing. Pre-launch hype, the Blood Mage was around about A tier. He was one of the more talked about ascendancies, but the ladder performance I'm going to have to call an F tier. 10 of the top 1,000 people are playing this ascendancy. None of them are 82 plus. None of them has even hit level 80. At the time I was recording this, the highest was 79. Overall, this is going to be an F tier, and it's a more emphatic F than the Acolyte of Chaeola is. Blood Mage has undergone more testing, and people haven't solved it. There's a bunch of different ways people have been trying this. I was trying it with a tri-element approach. Adventurer. There's other people who have been trying it with a chaos damage approach, a physical damage approach, and no one's really found a breakout solution yet. I'm playing this myself, and while it's been fun, Sangomancy's drawback is worse than we thought in a world where you might need to dump 5,000 or 6,000 mana into killing a boss. So you're not just dumping 5,000 or 6,000 mana over the space of a long fight, you're also dumping 5,000 or 6,000 life over the space of that fight. This is kind of like going into the boss with 7 less life loss charges than you'd otherwise have. And when you think of it that way, that's pretty severe. It means that you just don't have the space to make mistakes against bosses. That's the real problem with Blood Mage, and that's the reason that people aren't yet finding much success with it. I'm going to keep playing it because I am enjoying the Ascendancy, but there's a reason that I haven't finished the campaign yet. Now let's jump over to the Infernalist, the second best performer, and one of the things that was being hyped quite a bit pre-launch. So A tier pre-launch, A plus tier in terms of its ladder performance. 238 of the top 1,000, 8 of them are level 82 plus. Now I would have called this S tier with this performance based on having 238 of the top 1,000. Yeah, it's not as good as Deadeye, but it's doing pretty well. The thing is though, that the number of people that are then making it into that top 72, the number that have made it to level 82 is quite a bit lower. And as a result, I'm concerned that there might be some issues the Infernalist has early in maps. So progresses very well through the campaign, and then starts to hit a little bit of a power brick wall possibly. For that reason, I'm only going to put this in A tier overall and A plus tier on ladder performance, even though from the numbers alone you might consider it S tier for ladder performance and A plus overall. It's solidly overperforming from high expectations, but people might be just struggling a bit once they get further into endgame. Anyways, my final thought, play what looks fun, but if you're in doubt and you're just about to get started, play the Deadeye. It seems to be doing really, really well.
Life is but a dream.
Gucci guilty, boom.
Is what
Super fridge, keeping food fresh.
like a Bosch.
Eating more so you be throwing out less.
Like a Bosch.
Stay fresh like a Bosch. With America's most trusted refrigerators that keep food fresh up to 3 times longer. From Bosch.
Oh, there it is. Oh. Okay. Yo guys, what is up? Max on Path of Exile 2 video, and today we're going over my updated guide to our Lightning Deadeye Ranger. Now, I started this build with kind of an idea of where I wanted it to go, but some things have changed. I've made some adjustments, and the build is absolutely blasting. We are now have beaten the all 6 acts. We are into mapping, and we are doing a lot of damage. And I want to break down some of the changes that I've made to the build, answer some of the questions that I've been getting about it, and break down everything else that you need to know, and how to push this build from kind of a starter into a end game bosser and really strong mapper. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get into it. So the very first thing that we need to talk about is magnetic salvo. Now, originally the build that I was using, and I'd still recommend doing this, but we were using some frenzy stuff. We were generating charges to fire rain of arrows, and this was a big part of our bossing DPS. Once we hit level 52, you unlock magnetic salvo, which just bar for bar the stronger skill, and where it allows us to pivot away from using rain of arrows. We're still using it, but more for utility, but we're going to be using magnetic salvo now as our new boss killer. This is just a better skill than rain of arrows for this build. To give you an idea, rain of arrows is 161 attack damage. It's all fizz, so our added damage helps, but it's not a lightning skill. Magnetic salvo is a lightning skill. It converts a bunch into lightning damage. It has 108 attack damage here, which is less than rain of arrows, but what we care about is the explosions. The way that the skill functions is you fire your lightning rods down on the ground. Now we've got a bunch of lightning rods, and then when we hit magnetic salvo, it detonates all of those. And those explosions have 350% attack damage. Just the values on this skill is crazy, and it's allowing us to delete elites in one salvo, and it's really, really helpful. It does need a fair bit of attack speed. That's kind of the big downside to this skill, is you need attack speed to use it, and it could be a little bit awkward if you don't have that attack speed. So it's not something you're going to be using every single mob, but it's something we can use a lot, and it'll just massively increase our damage. I do want to note one thing real quick, is that in like Act 4, 5, you're not going to be able to have like the mana or the attack speed to really make Magnetic Salvo feel good. So this is kind of a map setup. I would recommend using my like day 2 setup up until kind of you can get a little bit more gear specific pieces. Getting attack speed makes this skill feel way better. Getting like, for example, fizz damage leached as mana makes it feel way better because you're gonna be like using a lot of mana to spam this thing. And when I was in the campaign, I was actually using this thing with Hourglass support, which gives it 40% more damage, but it has 10% longer cooldown or 10-second cooldown. And then you can kind of like play the build as normal, and then every 10 seconds you're casting this, and that feels really good. And then once you get into the end game, you can kind of start pivoting to using this more as our main DPS damage rather than like lightning rod, lightning arrow combo. And so I just kind of wanted to point that out before we get into this. All right, now let's go over our gem setup. So on lightning arrow, obviously when you're like starting out, we use Pierce. You can use Chain as well. I think later on, Fork actually will end up working out the best.
Besides
but
the
it is kind of like
outside,
personal preference.
my brothers
this
and
just
I
means
fought
that
at
our
the
lightning
Battle
arrows
of
with
High
Fork can
Jaw.
hit multiple enemies
Any
after
who
it hits
seek
the
to
first
steal
one.
from the bank
It
must
does deal
face
less
us
damage,
first.
but it should be proccing more lightning rods because we're going to get more arrows from that. We also can use Innervate on this now, so that when we do kill an enemy, we get 35% more of our damage as lightning damage, which is awesome. And then I've also got mobility on this. I freaking love mobility. We are using lightning arrow now as a bit of a more support skill, and with mobility on, when we're shooting this, we can just kind of move pretty quickly and kite enemies around. If we, for example, take mobility off, look how slow we get now. We're just like an actual sloth, even with a bunch of movement speed on. And so that like reduced movement speed penalty is a absolute game changer for like kind of the feel of the build. I really like that. Then we got lightning rod. Lightning rod is still like a bunch of damage for us, but we're kind of, you know, needing it not as much. We're mainly using it as like a source to proc damage for magnetic salvo. So lightning rod, we're gonna +1 lightning skills on it. We've still got scatter shot, but we also are now using martial tempo on this. We want to be able to get as many of these down as possible, as quick as possible, so that we can be blowing up magnetic salvo with them. We've also got Rain of Arrows. Rain of Arrows is now kind of a utility skill for us. So the big thing with Magnetic Salvo is that if an enemy is standing right here, they're going to take a lot of damage. If an enemy is here, they're not going to take much damage. And so we kind of have this time where we need to like build up our arrows and then detonate our arrows. And if an enemy is just charging at us, they can kind of avoid some of that damage. So what we have is Rain of Arrows as a utility skill that you can just kind of like throw in some attacks. And with Rain of Arrows, we've got a ton of CC. It's going to have pin support, so now it'll root enemies in place, and it'll slow them. So if they're not rooted, they're slowed, and this is a bunch of, like, survivability, because we can kite enemies better with this. Then we've got Stormcaller's Arrow. I keep getting asked, like, oh, like, why are we using Stormcallers? This is a damage utility skill for us. Now we've got a few things that are going to be on it, but the big thing is that this bolt, when it comes down, has an 800% chance to shock. So it's really good at proccing shocks. We're going to be using Overcharge for 75% increased magnitude of our shocks from this skill, which just means that like our shock gives us a 75% more multiplier on our like base multiplier of this. So we're going to deal more damage to enemies that get hit by this. We've also got Coursing Current, so that if we do shock an enemy with that 800% chance to shock, it has a chance to spread to nearby enemies with that multiplier. And we've got Lightning Exposure on this, so now enemies that get hit by this skill are just going to have minus 20% lightning resistance. So this is a huge kind of utility skill. If there's a tanky target or something that is tough to kill, you want to make sure Stormcaller's Arrow is on them. Then with Voltaic Mark, this is a bit of a Nova skill for us. It does have some nice AoE clear, but it also gives us 50% more chance to shock on whatever enemy it's on, and shocks have increased effect on marked enemies. You're going to want to be casting this on anything that is tanky, or use it as like a starter. When you're walking up to a pack, you cast the curse and then immediately go into your things. We do have a lot of cast speed with Tailwind. It takes like 2 seconds to cast that mark, and then you can just go right into your damage and know that once you kill some of those enemies that are going to get shocked, they're going going to explode, which will proc Herald of Thunder for us as well. Magnetic Salvo is our big damage skill. I know the DPS here looks a little underwhelming, but when you go to the explosion, you can see that we are got like 2,500 damage per second, and that is if it's hitting like one rod, it's hitting a ton of rods to do massive explosion damage. So we're going to be putting all of our big damage mods on this. We've got Elemental Focus for more elemental damage, but we can inflict ailments. Magnified Effect for 40% more area of effect. This helps use it as a mobbing setup, but it also gives it more like shotgun potential. And then Primal Armament for more weapon elemental damage. Then we've got Barrage. Now I'm thinking about swapping Barrage for the like escape shot that fires the cold arrow and some freeze support as another escape tool. I'm not a huge fan of that skill, but Barrage is probably like the least necessary of our skills. Basically, we're using it as a way to get some extra attack speed because it'll fire our attacks more often. So if we need to get, for example, more rain of arrows down, we can, cast that and it'll give us more rain of arrows. If we need to get more lightning rods down on the ground, we can cast that and it'll like double the amount of lightning rods that we're doing in a cast. So it's a nice little attack speed boost, but it is not the most necessary of our skills. Then we've got Herald of Thunder. We've got Execute on this to deal more damage against low life enemies. This is usually proccing on like the later half of when we're fighting mobs. But we've also got Killing Strike on this now. So if we do get a rare or unique low, it'll just instantly kill them. And then we've got Wind Dancer. We're no longer using Combat Frenzy. I only have 100 spirit right now. We will be able to like fit more like crazy things on the build once we get more spirit. But right now, getting Wind Dancer with Cannibalism and Herbalism is so nice. This is a buff that gives us 18% more evasion per stage. It gets 3 stages. So we're getting a bunch of evasion rating from this, but the big keyword here is it gives us more evasion. This is a multiplier to our amount of evasion rating. This is a very different amount than something like this that gives us 15% increased evasion rating. So big survivability tool, and we're going to want to stack up a bunch of evasion rating because we eventually will be picking up acrobatics in the next like 2 points here, which is going to chop our evasion rating down a bunch, but give us more survivability. Now let's go over the skill tree. Now we did have one big major kind of respec that we did, and that was out of this left side. Now the reason for that respec is because when we're not using Combat Frenzy, we don't really need Electrocute buildup, and so we got rid of this node, and then we were basically going all of this way just for a single skill, which was Heavy Ammunition, which is an awesome skill. I like it a lot, but the 8% reduced attack speed now when we're using Salvo also isn't super helpful.